Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Queens Borough President Land Use Public Hearing. This hearing is taking place both in person in the Borough President's Conference Room and on our YouTube channel at Queens BP. I am Vicki Garvey, the Land Use Director, and I am chairing this hearing on behalf of the Borough President. For those who wish to testify virtually and haven't already pre-registered to do so, please visit our website at queensbp.nyc.gov. Written testimony is welcome from those who are unable to testify in real time. All written testimony must be received by 5 p.m. today and may be submitted by email to planning2@queensbp.nyc.gov. That's planning and the number 2 at queensbp.nyc.gov, or by conventional mail sent to the office of the Queens Borough President at 120-55 Queens Boulevard, room 226, Kew Gardens, New York, 11424. Lisa, please review how this public hearing will proceed.
Yes. The public hearing shall be conducted in the following manner. The applicant will give a description of the requested zoning action, the proposed project, and respond to any questions from the chair. The floor will then be open for public speakers. Please listen for your name to be called. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to ask questions and/or deliver testimony. When you are called, please identify yourself for the record and if you are formally speaking as a representative or member of a group, the calendar number or application you are speaking about, and whether you are for or against the item. Then you may begin your testimony. Please note that the signal will ring when your time is up. At the discretion of the chair, if there are a large number of speakers on any particular item, it may be put on second call. Speakers for and against that item may also be called to testify on an alternating basis. Please note that if you are testifying virtually, you must keep your camera on during your testimony and display your name accurately on Zoom. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, Lisa. The chair reserves the right to ask speakers for clarifications or further information regarding the applications or comments. So without further ado, Lisa, please call the first calendar item.
Calendar items number 1 and 2 are related items. ULURP number 220415 ZMQ and ULURP number N220416ZRQ. The applicant is 147-149 LLC, affected community board number 7. Applicant, you may begin.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you both for your time and for making the opportunity available to all of us to testify and to hear the public's opinion on an application that my office has filed with the New York City Department of City Planning, encompassing the block front on Northern Boulevard in the borough of Queens between 147th Street and 149th Street. It is a block front that if you drove past, you probably wouldn't notice much. It's rather nondescript. It has a gas station on one end, and it's a series of one-story retail buildings. We are here to ask you for a rezoning that will facilitate a tremendous amount of housing, both market rate and affordable housing, as well as providing more than the required parking, as well as providing back into the mix the local retail that helps to make Queens so vibrant. I will now, if I have your permission, share the screen, and that's okay. Hopefully I did this correctly. Beautiful. Okay, great. So this is the development in front of you right now that you can see on the screen, and as you're going to hear me testify to and speak to throughout my moments here, are the design of the building. I think it's something we could all be proud of in Queens. It was designed by Raymond Chan Architects, and you could see it has an undulating surface to it, breaking down any massing on the building so that it gives the feeling, as you're looking at it, of distinct areas of the building of different heights and of different uses. You can see there'll be ground floor retail. That's what you see right there. And the building will rise up 11 stories to its highest above it. So it'll be 12 stories in total. It's really called a basement and 11 stories, but it rises to a total height of 12 stories. It'll have 389 apartments, as you can see right here on the right-hand side of 389 apartments, 97 of which will be permanently affordable. That's a significant number of affordable units that are being created, but hats off to Community Planning Board 7 because they have consistently delivered on creating affordable housing in their community, and this project is no different. And I should also mention that we did appear before Community Board 7 and have been working with them for years on this application. And the design that you see in front of them is a result of that work, and we received a very strong vote of approval from them at their full board hearing. I believe it was last week. It was a very cold night, as they've all been for the last few weeks. Also of note here on the bottom right is you can see there's 280 total parking spaces, 155 are required. So not totally doubling, but nearly doubling the amount of required parking. The property is located within Council Member Sandra Ung's district, and it's an existing R5, down to the roots of it, it's an existing R5 zoning district with a C12 overlay. We're asking you to rezone it to an R7X zoning district with a C23 overlay. So if it is approved, it'll allow for a development that is similar in nature to the ones that are right behind us. And that's the most interesting thing about how Queens Boulevard has evolved over the years in this section, and specifically is that the boulevard itself, excuse me, Queens Boulevard, because the same thing happens on Queens Boulevard. On Northern Boulevard, and it's the same situation on Queens Boulevard, is that the smaller one-story commercial buildings have lined the boulevards and the taller buildings are behind them. That's sort of an anomaly of planning. Usually the boulevards, Northern Boulevard, Queens Boulevard, any boulevard you can think of, have the taller buildings on them. So here we're seeking to remedy, I think, something that should have been done decades ago. We're going to match the buildings behind us. We are not blocking any windows. We're a generous distance away, and I'll give you the exact dimensions once I start going through the application a little bit. Uh, the benefits of the rezoning I just spoke to, so I'm not going to bore you here. The zoning map is what we're here for. This is the proposal. The left side of the screen shows you what's there. It's all an R5 district. I don't know how in the world this whole area is zoned R5. I've been doing this for 40 years. This has consistent amount of high density buildings in it, and people have been living there for decades. My whole family lived there in the 60s. Everybody, my brother was born there. So to see it zoned R5 as I get older is a little surprising, but you could see it now, very old. And as you can see here all around us, there's R7 and R6As have been scattered in throughout the years. So obviously, people have corrected the lower density, but not consistently. We're here to change that on our block front. The right side shows you that, the R7X. We're also shortening the whole overlay here, everything as far as the zoning goes. If you can see here on the left side, the existing R5 is there, of course, but the C12 overlay extends a significant distance back, well beyond the 100 feet that we are proposing to cut it to here. And that's simply because there's no reason to go further than 100 feet to achieve the commercial uses. There is no desire to add commercial uses, intrude them on the side streets, which I just spoke about as being higher density residential. And this explains that exactly. And we made a slide, resizing and rezoning from C12 to C23. It's getting shorter. It's like me, as I get older, I'm getting shorter. And now you have the proposal here on the right-hand side, which is everything. You should be now, learning to know it. And if you're not, I just repeat myself. The right-hand side shows you the proposal. It breaks it down into a little more detail for you. It shows you that we're proposing two buildings, buildings A and B, which I haven't really spoken to yet. One building will be obviously on 147th, the other will be on 149th. They will have separate parking entrances. That was done after much work, and you'll see slides later with the community board detailing traffic circulation with traffic engineers and charts and graphs and all sorts of discussions that occurred. And I should pay homage to Gene Kelty, the former chair of Community Planning Board 7, who's now since passed, who worked very hard on it along with all the other members of Community Board 7, who created a parking program here that is specifically tailored to meet the requests of the community after much analysis. And I'll go through that for you in a little bit. And you can see on the right-hand side, though, all the boring stuff, how much FAR, et cetera. The height, 125 feet. Remember, I said it reads as 11, the architect has called it 11 stories. It's 11 stories in a basement. It's really a 12-story building. It's 125 feet tall. And I don't want there to be any confusion about it because people have said 11 stories, and you'll see here it's not. It's 12. The ground floor is called the basement, and then there are 11 stories above it. And I apologize that some of our paperwork reflects it as otherwise. We'll correct that. You can see here the sites themselves. The site itself is made really up of 4 distinct property owners. The 4 property owners are all developers and are all working together. Some are names that you may know already. I'll mention one of them is the Matone Group, just simply because I'm in Queens, and Matone family has built a reputation that people seem to know. But the others are here as well, and we could list their names: Michael Economo and George Stralios and Stephen Quo. And they're all local developers who are part of the community, who've owned the property for decades and have spoken to all of their tenancies in place. Everybody told them what's going on. Everybody knows what's happening, and everybody is excited to see something happen in the future. The right-hand side of the screen shows you there's an existing gas station. That's going to be gone. That's the subject of an existing Board of Standards and Appeals application. That's how it's operating, and that's a big part of the traffic discussion as well, just in general, is that one use generates more traffic than everything else we could possibly create on the site, because you only go to a gas station if you have a car. So for the most part, or unless you have to use the bathroom like me. But having said that, for the most part, we've spoken to, for the whole part, we've spoken to everybody, and there is support for the application. You can see here more of what I'm talking about with the buildings all around us being taller. And this is the site on the left, and that's what we're proposing. Uh, I'll speak here to the affordability. We are creating 97 affordable apartments, and they're averaging at a rent. Here we're showing you at option 1, and there's also a scenario we've demonstrated at option 2, but it's quite a few. Here gives you a breakdown of everything I just spoke about the building, which now you're more of an expert. You know it's 12 stories, even though it says 11. And you see basement is really the ground floor. That's where you're going to walk into any commercial store that's there. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that we are working with a local not-for-profit, Community American Family Services, to try to come to some agreement with them to create some not-for-profit space within the building. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention that we are entered into contractual arrangements with 32BJ to provide building services, as well as Local 79 to help construct the building, which is a incredibly strong Queens-oriented union with many of their members, I'm sure, residing, if not immediately around this property, within very close proximity to it. The height of the proposal, I said it's 12 stories. Again, please ignore this 11, it's 12. It's 125 feet tall. It's consistent with every single thing around here. I told you my family used to live here. They used to live right over here somewhere. 127 feet tall, 143 feet. The surrounding buildings, 153 feet tall. I mean, we're at 12 stories, 124th Street tall, 4 feet tall on a side street. We're the same site, same height. We're on the boulevard. They're on the side street, and that's the lunacy of what's going on with zoning in this general area. Not that the area is lunacy, but the zoning is. And from that perspective, you could see it here that there's an anomaly here, that the zoning is not matching the built conditions, and it's not matching the needs of the community, because people are crying out to have more housing options, and that's recognized by the community board working with us very diligently to create the housing, not to stop the housing. And that's something to be said, very impressive. And as a borough president's office, you should be proud of this board in particular when you interact with them on housing issues. You can see here the property. I'm going to go through now just a little bit more detail if I can. This is all the demographics in the neighborhood, which you know better than I do. But here you can see the different breakdowns of the units: studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms. This came up at discussion at the community board, why there are no 3 bedrooms. And the ownership has said, listen, we'll do a market study when we bring it to market, and we'll adapt the building as we need to adapt the building in order to accommodate the demand that's out there. This is what we've created just for presentation purposes. But it gives you a pretty good mix and an understanding of just how many units are actually being created. You can create housing here for nearly 400 units that could potentially two, three, four people in a home could create 1,000 homes for 1,000 people potentially, and maybe some dogs and cats and fish too. Uh, Here we go with stormwater management. This is something that came up at the community board. They wanted us to focus heavily, and I know something that's important to the borough president, just to focus upon how the building will accommodate stormwater management. And we have permeable, the dots, the bullets here on the left-hand side, 15,000 square feet of new landscape terraces, permeable area on the property is 35% of the total lot area is permeable. The next bullet tells you there's nothing now. So every drop of rain that falls on that property now goes into the sewer system. Every drop of rain that falls in the future, 35% of it at least is going to fall into something that's meant there to catch it and slow it down. Also, there'll be detention wells within the property to catch any overflow as well and feed it into the system at a later point when the demand and the surge has lowered. I think at this point we'd all be happy with a little bit of rain as opposed to snow. So, but that's seasonal conversations. Car ownership is all prepared at the community board. So I'm just simply going to go through that as quickly because if you have further questions, you could ask on all of these slides. I'm just showing you so you can see all of these charts, graphs, everything was created to result in this ground floor layout, and it was all done with the involvement of the community board. The final thing that I wanted to stop on, if I can get to it, is this slide. Well, this is all the green areas. So this is just further reinforces what I spoke about a minute ago. But this, I just wanted to, anticipate any questions you may have about the neighboring properties. Remember, I said there were apartment buildings behind us, and I said we're not blocking their windows. So we've created these documents here to show you what's happening. The building at the base in the back is only that first floor, and then it sets back 72 feet. So the first floor is right up to the property line. And that distance from the property line is 25 feet. So people at the first floor adjacent to us have a 25-foot distance between them and our building at the first floor. Everybody above in the middle is at 72 feet. On the edges, there are 20 feet right now for the first 5 floors there'll be. And then above that, they'll be at 45 feet. Both of these dimensions, the 72, all three of them, the 25, the 20, the 45, are more generous than is required under current zoning. And as a matter of fact, there is no right in New York City, of course, to any lot line windows. So it's not just is it more generous. Nobody has any right to any windows on a side lot line in the borough or in New York City. So we're not affecting that. We're not imposing upon that. It's more than, I think, adequate to accommodate everybody's needs. And this just shows you what we're trying to do. So I know that you have other matters on your agenda. Everything is here on the screen for you that we left you with the summary, and we'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Eric. That was a very comprehensive presentation. I actually only have one question. You answered a few of them. So just to clarify, based on the bedroom mix, the mix of units with different bedrooms, were there changes made to the mix after the CB7 hearing and vote?
No, they were not made, but we've assured them that we will be making them if they're necessary, and we're going to speak to our real estate brokers and marketing professionals and ensure that if there are changes that need to be made, we will make them.
Okay, and just so we know, ballpark, when would the market study be done
Uh,
in this timeline?
Probably if we got approval now or during this process, excuse me, a market study would probably be done 3 or 4 or 5 months after that to determine. And just so you know too, we're eager to build larger units, if they make sense. A building with larger units are cheaper to build. The most expensive component of any construction are the wet areas that include plumbing. So obviously, if you're building more kitchens, In these one-bedroom apartments, it's a lot of plumbing going into the kitchens. You have dishwashers. You have a lot more. Every one bedroom has a washing machine, a dishwasher. It has a kitchen. It has everything related to water. Whereas a two-bedroom is, you can get away with a two-bedroom with two baths, and that's it. And there's only one washing machine. There's only one dishwasher. There's only one kitchen. So the ownership, just so you were reviewing these applications, because I get asked this question a lot, ownership is actually eager to build larger units all the time. You'll always see a developer wanting to build large units from a cost perspective. It's just a matter of if there's a marketplace for them, and that, to that respect, we're in line with your demands too, and your whatever you would want to see too, because whatever a broker sees out there in the marketplace as being what people want to rent is what we'll provide. And three bedrooms come with a premium. I think we all know that. It's not easy to rent a three-bedroom apartment in New York City these days without paying a higher price than you would. So, from the renter's perspective, we're trying to accommodate their needs, and it's not a self-motivated reason; it's a market reason.
Yeah, no, thank you, Eric. I think that's really important to highlight. Okay, so I don't believe we had anyone signed up to testify on this item. If Sola, could you just please confirm if anyone is in the participant or sorry, the attendee
I did think
list?
we were given, thought we had some attendees coming. I could be wrong, but I thought we were.
Oh, there are no attendees present.
Yeah, and I don't see any in the conference room. So I guess with that, we'll close this item and thank you, Eric, for your presentation.
You're very welcome. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, Lisa, if you could call the next calendar item.
Sure. Calendar item number 3, ULURP number 250053, MMQ. The applicant, St. Mary's Health Systems for Children, affected Community Board number 11. Applicant, please begin.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Is that?
Oh yeah. I think did Eric sign off? I think we have co-host capabilities in the conference room. We're going to try to unshare that screen. Okay, great. Sorry about that. Jerry, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Am I sharing?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. All right. My name is Jerry Johnson. I'm represent St. Mary's Healthcare for Children in this application. With me today are Sean Lawley, Bill Mead, and Vito Totonico from St. Mary's. Now I'll begin. So this application concerns their campus, which is located at 29th Avenue and 216th Street in Bayside. It's a large lot. It encompasses portions of 2 city blocks and 5 tax lots. And the action before you is an amendment to the city map to eliminate portions of 2 privately owned, unbuilt city streets, 29th Avenue and Little Neck Boulevard, and discontinue and close a portion 29th Avenue, which I'll explain in a minute. These actions will facilitate the proposed construction of a 357 square foot entrance vestibule, 2 drop-off canopies, and improved vehicular circulation within the hospital campus. Just to give you a better sense of the location of the site within the broader Queens area, the hospital location is outlined in red. So here's an aerial view of the hospital. You can see the main building on the right. The hospital property itself is outlined in red, and the area to be demapped is outlined in yellow. So a little bit of history. In 1948, Block 6059, Lot 1 was acquired by St. Mary's. And in that acquisition, there were portions of 2 portions of the original tax lot that were located in 216th Street, you can see at the bottom in red, and 29th Avenue, which you can see in the triangular portion in the middle of the site. Those were deeded to the city. 216th Street was built out as part of 216th Street and functions as a street today. The city never acquired the remainder portion of 29th Avenue or Little Neck Boulevard, and so that site has just been sitting there as a part of the campus itself today still, even though it's owned by the city. So in 1983, St. Mary's was able to acquire the remainder of their site, which was 4 tax lots, block 601, 25, and 45, and block 6059, lot 12, which included the remainder of 29th Avenue and Little Neck Boulevard. And the city has no intention to purchase these lots or to build these out as part of the city street grid, and they serve no current city function itself, serve, you know, like for sewers or things like that, which are normally located in city streets. Just another picture. So the area in red is again St. Mary's campus. The area in gold is the area to be demapped, and the area that's city owned will be discontinued and eliminated and transferred to St. Mary's at the end of this application if it's approved. Copy of the change in the city map that's part of the application, showing the area that will be taken off the city map. And here's the site plan. So the hospital itself is the area in green. Those are the existing buildings. The area in light blue is the entrance vestibule that will be created as part of the application. And then there's 2 areas right here and right here, which will be extended and new drop-off canopies for buses arriving with the children to protect them from inclement weather. And here's a picture of a rendering of the proposed facility when it's complete. I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jerry. Excuse me, I have a cold, so I'm gonna try and clear my throat. So can you just give a brief description of the CB11 discussion? Because I know there was overwhelming approval, but it wasn't unanimous. So I just wanted to get a sense of what you might describe as the summary of the discussion.
I mean, I thought they were all very positive. I know there was some discussion about like the potential future development of the site, potentially you know, within the bed of the map street, though there is no intention to develop the site any further than this, except for you know, the canopy at this present time. There's a significant grade change at this location from the hospital down to the back corner, which connects to the area that's the Little Neck Boulevard, which is, I think, what many people are most concerned about. But I think overall that the tenor of the meeting was positive. There was some discussion as to why this was necessary. And it's necessary because we can't utilize the area that we own, we pay for, and we maintain, and use it for like the entrance vestibule and circulation that we need. And that came about as part of the issue around COVID and the ability to provide proper spacing for people coming and going and dealing with that situation. And they determined that they needed you know, a little bit better circulation and some more canopies to protect the children coming and going from the facility.
Got it. Understood. And can you just let me know, was there any type of transportation study done? I know there wasn't an EIS done with this application, but was there any kind of traffic analysis or transportation analysis?
Just the basic screening, and we screened out of anything required as part of, you know, like a further detailed study. But this will streamline the buses coming and going from the facility to, you know, better accommodate the kids boarding and exiting the buses as they come. It'll provide better circulation around the entrance as they all come and arrive and leave.
Understood. Okay, so I mean, those were my only two questions today. I'm going to ask Sola if there's anyone in the attendee list who wishes to testify.
Nope, no attendees.
Okay, and seeing none in the conference room, we have no one here to publicly testify, so I'm just going to go ahead and close this item.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so with that, I'm going to close the hearing. And so our next scheduled hybrid land use public hearing is on March 2nd. I'm sorry, Thursday, March 12th, starting at 9:30 a.m. Again, that's Thursday, March 12th, starting at 9:30 a.m. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Bye.